Hi, I'm Dele Olawanle of Dele and Co. Solicitors. Contact us for advice and representation and advocacy in all areas of immigration law. We take your case from the onset until the conclusion of the case. We provide a one-stop service and we provide advice and representation and advocacy.
Dele & Co. Solicitors. We're friendly, professional and cost-effective. A one-stop shop for immigration affairs as we take your case from the onset and represent you in court if necessary. Located at 659 Green Lanes, Haringey, London, N80QY. We're only 4 minutes walk from the Turnpike Lane tube station on the Piccadilly line. Call 0208 880 9393. That's 0208 880 9393 for more information.
Dele and Co. Solicitors. Legal advice you can rely on.
Hello viewers, welcome to today's program on Legal Panorama. I am Cynthia Arthur. With me in the studio today is Mr. Dele Olawanle of Dele & Co. Solicitors. It's
Good
always
afternoon.
a pleasure to see you.
Always a pleasure. You've been, a star on the screen. Yes. Yes.
Thank you, sir. You've been doing this program for many years, but there may be people who are watching for the first time. Can you tell them what this program is about?
Legal Panorama is my baby. Years ago when I was in detention because I had immigration issues, and when you are praying to God, you have a lot of vows and promises that if this happens. So when I was in detention, I saw a lot of people from many countries, of the over 50 countries. Some of them were there, they didn't know why they were there. Some of them didn't know, thought that their lawyers made an application for them without knowing that there was no application until they were arrested. And then some of them instructed lawyers who messed up their cases. And so as a result of that, I made up my mind that if I'm allowed to stay in the system, that I will do this for the community. I will be educating the community on legal matters. And then my experience with the immigration authority was so bad. I'm married to a British citizen. My children are British. But I was made to report to the immigration authority for over 8 years. After reporting for 7 years, they detained me for 5 weeks. They took me to Gatwick Airport to deport me until I was released. They refused to grant me bail, but suddenly they released me. And then I had to report for another year before they granted me the right to stay. So that experience was traumatic. And I didn't want a lot of people to go through that. So that's why I'm doing this program, to take the law, break it down, explain to people what they can do, what they should not do. And over the years, the responses have been incredible. When you do things and people appreciate it.
Yes.
And I thank you for sticking with us, because some people said that they have been following me since the first day I started Legal Panorama on Ben TV, on Revelation TV, on Faith TV, on Believe TV, because Legal Panorama is a brand. Everywhere I go, I take it with me. So just know that you are in the safest place. If you don't need the number, give it to your friend. He may need it.
Thank you to all the faithful and loyal viewers who
Yes.
have come along all
Yes.
these years.
Yes. I appreciate you. Yeah.
Thank you. Coronavirus came from nowhere. How
Yeah.
has it affected legal practice and everything in general?
Yes, it's affected legal practice in that it has moved a lot of cases of the board. We had a lot of cases lined up, but we couldn't do it. They moved it and they want to do it electronically. Then they found out that a lot of these cases cannot be done electronically, as you need for. Sometimes you have 2 or 3 or 4 witnesses, and when you have a witness that is, you have to look at their credibility, you have to look at their body movement and things like that. And the screen could be defective, though. We look good on screen, but then you may not see the totality of our reaction, whether we are embellishing the truth. It's like watching football on television. It's not a real picture. Yeah, so, but we have been coping. We've been seeing clients, electronically via Zoom, and then having a face-to-face contact has been difficult, but things are getting better. But we just hope there's not a second wave of this period, because I also battled with COVID, and I know how challenging it could be for people that are through it, and for people with underlying health conditions. Fret not, because we can see you from afar, and the feeling will still be mutual and the same. So, outside London, don't worry, you don't have to come down for now. We can see you, we can have a telephone consultation with you, and if we need to see you later, you come down, or if you feel like coming down, so that you know that you are dealing with real human being in the appearance of a man. So it has been challenging, but also we have been inventive, because we are now learning to do things that we never used to do before. So it's a learning curve, it's a learning experience, but I just hope and pray that things get better, because life needs to get to back to normal again.
If ever there will be any session as normal, anyway, but we'll get through it. How have you been coping during this time, and how have you been able to see clients?
Yeah, what we have been doing is our client base has remained very strong. We have a lot of ongoing cases that we are doing, and we have a lot of new instructions. So, but what we have done is to be adaptable, to work from home, to visit the office regularly, to see what we can do. If we need to see people, we see them. The big office. So also we stay in touch with telephone, with emails. So because a lot of that is being used more and more. So this period has been an interesting period, and the same thing applies to everyone out there, that this period should not be allowed to break you and to make you feel like that is the end of the road. Believe me, I think this is the best time of our life, in that we are making new discoveries, and we are taking a new step towards fulfilling destiny. I believe that the country will be back to normal, but if it's not back to normal, it's not the end of the road, which will be back to near normal, at least. Yeah, so we are there, we are operating the way we should.
I think we've all become adaptable in circumstances like this. If you've just tuned in, you just watching Legal Panorama. I'm Cynthia Arthur, and I've got Mr. Dele, Olawanle of Dele and Co. Solicitors here today to answer all your questions and to enlighten us regarding immigration matters. The telephone numbers are on the screen, the contact numbers, so you can call them anytime, any day, and they'll be more than happy to help. What can overstayers do to regularize their situation in this uncertain atmosphere?
In this uncertain atmosphere, but there is still a lot of certainty, in that the immigration rules remain the same. Just a little, they tinker with it from time to time, but it's largely the same. Thank God they have not increased the immigration fees or the immigration health surcharge. Actually, for health workers, frontline workers, some of them have been able to get exemption from paying the immigration health surcharge. So it's good on that side. But the thing is that there hasn't been a lot of changes. So what needs to be done is to see how the situation applies to you, how the laws applies to you, how the rules applies to you, what you can do. And I think that the best thing, which is the best thing you should do whenever you have a legal matter, not only immigration, we do employment, we do civil matters, we do charity law, we do crime from time to time, we do family law, we do landlord and tenant, but this TV program is mainly for immigration matters, because the bias is to educate immigrants. A lot of them are suffering, a lot of them are being duped, a lot of them are being misled by their friends and some unscrupulous people. So here, we are here to deal just with immigration law, but we do other areas of law. So to regularize your stay, to know more about your situation, send us an inquiry, go to our website, send an email, and then we'll be able to advise you on what you need to do. But it is good to get advice. If not, you'll be throwing good money after a bad case, in most cases.
Wow. Dele Olawanle over here, the embodiment of the law talking about migrational issues. If an application is refused, what can be done about it, especially as the courts are not open now?
Okay. Now, before an application is refused, an application has to be made. So, therefore, um, you need to make an application before a refusal. Now, when you make an application to the Home Office, they will decide whether to grant you leave to remain or to refuse it. So if your case is refused, it may be refused with a right to appeal or a right not or no right of appeal. Now, where you are given a right of appeal, then you are going to court to be able to have your day in court. I will suggest, unless your case is straightforward, make sure you don't go for paper hearing. Paper hearing means that you will just complete the appeal form and just send it to the court with some evidence. To me, that is pre-suicide, because you have robbed yourself of the opportunity to be heard. Just some people opt for paper hearing because it's just £80. An oral hearing, money. An oral hearing is just £140. So I will say, unless you are sure, go for oral hearing. Prepare your case, lodge your appeal, and then get legal advice. Because whilst you may want to argue with your senses, with what you know, with facts, lawyers argue with law, supported by statutes, supported by laws, rules, supported by legislation, supported by case law. So the argument can't really be the same. So make sure you get a lawyer to help you with your appeal. You may have 2 or 3 or 4 witnesses. They may be suitable or not suitable. Your lawyer will decide that. But if you are not given the right of appeal, I hope that's not your next question,
No.
so that I don't dive into it.
Exactly. You jumping ahead.
Yeah, so if I've answered your question, I'll just so
No,
people.
my next question was going to be, what can people who have been granted a right of appeal do?
Okay, so I'll just
exactly.
merge everything together. So if you have been granted the right of appeal, as I was saying, you need to appeal within 14 days. If you are not appealing within 14 days, make sure you apply for an extension of time. If not, your appeal will be thrown out if it is out of time. So you've got to apply for an extension. If you don't do that, then you may not have, you may lose the right of appeal. Then prepare your case well, prepare for your day in court. And in most cases, a lot of appeals are won this time again, as I said in previous interviews, that the judges are becoming more and more lenient. Though we're in the conservative government party are in power now, but it hasn't really changed much. But we will know also COVID-19 has not really permitted them to do what they wanted to do, because it just, it just threw a spanner in their works. And don't forget, we are not even talking of Brexit now.
No.
Because Brexit, go away, come again another day, because coronavirus is having the top flexing its muscle now. So what I'm trying to say is that let your case be prepared well, because for an appeal to be won, it has to be prepared well. If it's not prepared well, you'll find out in court that they will make a nonsense of your case. So think of that, do it, and also having a lawyer that is cheaper does not mean they are better. Okay?
Yeah.
It's like having Ronaldo playing for your team and you understand, and another player or a Messi in football. So what I'm trying to say, clients always look for lawyers that are very cheap, but then when you see the quality of advocacy, it may not be the same. The preparation may be shabby. At the end of the day, you will have to go through the process again,
Sure.
and then you
Cost you
double the
more.
money. Yeah, it costs you more. Thank you. I love that. It costs you more. You spend more. So, but it is better. It is possible for your case to be won if it is prepared well and argued properly. Yes.
You get what you pay for. Seek legal expert advice in the right place to save you extra cost. What can people who have not been granted a right of appeal do?
If you are not granted the right of appeal, that means you are not, your case is refused, and you are not given the right to appeal to the court, then you have to get a lawyer to assess the merits of your case to see whether you have a chance, any chance at all, whether there's an error of law, whether there's merit in the case. That has to be determined. So get legal advice. Don't just write. I see some clients, when they are not given a right of appeal, they will write a letter. I beg you in the name of God. I just look at it and say, what is this? You know, so they preach instead of instead of the case.
Using the law.
Yes, using the law. So there are two different things. And when you are talking of an error of law, you may not be able to know what the error is because you don't know the law. So get legal advice, because the decision can be challenged with judicial review if you are not granted leave to remain, or you are not given a right of appeal. Then you can challenge it with judicial review, pre-action protocol, or and then if they still don't change their decision, you then in some cases go for administrative review. In some cases you go for judicial review. So there are several options that you can take, several routes that you can follow. So if you do that, then you may discover that being refused, getting a refusal from the Home Office, is not the end of the road. There are several options, and you may need to explore that before you pack your bag and say to your tent, "Oh Israel."
If you've just tuned in, you're watching Legal Panorama. I'm Cynthia Arthur, and I've got with me in the studio here today Mr. Dele Olawanle of Dele & Co. Solicitors. How can your firm assist with judicial review or detained cases?
Yes, we've done this uh, over the years, practicing law for about 20 years. We've always been dealing with judicial review with detained cases. Again, get in touch. If you call the office, you will pay a consultation fee, which is our fee for advising you, and then we can provide representation for people in detention, people in prison, just name it. Maybe a chief immigration officer's bail, or we make an application to the court, or we apply for judicial review, whether at the high court or at the upper tribunal, whatever, wherever the court is, we can do it. And what we do at Dele & Co. Solicitors is that we provide a one-stop immigration services, that we take your case from the day you call us for legal advice, and the day you come to see us for consultation. We open a file, we do your case. If it is refused, we appeal on your behalf until you are sorted. Not only in the area of immigration, but in family law, in employment law, in charity law, landlord and tenant, everything. We do that. But we can represent anyone, everyone, and then the consistency is there. Yesterday I was sitting at the office and talking to a colleague of mine, and I said to him that, look, some of the clients coming back this season, I'll be acting for some of them for 18 years, 16 years as their lawyer, and they kept coming back, introducing people because of satisfaction guaranteed. We can't win all cases, but we win most cases because the passion is not just for the money, but also to leave our footprints on the legal landscape, so that the nations of the earth will know that we came.
Great
Yes.
stuff. What can people whose appeal were dismissed in the past do, or is it at the end of the road?
Not necessarily. It's like having a miscarriage,
Mm.
which is not, you know, it's a sensitive word to use. But sometimes you have to explain to people in a way they will understand things. So many people have had miscarriages in terms of have becoming pregnant, and eventually they have children. So the same thing with an immigration case. If you are refused, now or your appeal is dismissed, it doesn't mean it's the end of the road. You may even apply one, two, three times. It may still be dismissed, but the longer you stay in the UK, the better your case becomes. Over time, it changes. Someone that was single today may become married today, tomorrow. Someone that was married yesterday could have children today. So things change. And someone that has been here for 14 years may be here now for 19 years. Things change. So nothing is just staying rooted to the same spot. The landscape of law is always shifting, it's always moving. So therefore, the fact that your appeal was dismissed in the past is not the end of the road. Try again. My appeal was dismissed severally. My application was refused severally. But I'm here. So give
Never,
it a go. Never give up. Yes.
never give up. Consistency is the
You'll be
key.
a good preacher, you know.
How experienced are you, and how can your firm assist?
Immigration is my life. Immigration is my life. Also, I love the legal profession. I like talking. You know, I even talk in my dream, you see. I did law, I did it successfully, and my children look at me and they said that
Well done.
yeah, we want to be a lawyer too. The firstborn is a lawyer, the secondborn is a lawyer. So I'm a granddad of lawyers. Do you
Perfect.
understand? So practically, I've been through everything you can think about on immigration law. Made several applications, had several refusals, detained, reported to the authority for 8 years, taken to the airport to be deported, went to court severally and they refused bail. Eventually, they left me. Today, by God's grace, I'm a British citizen and I've practiced law for 20 years. I've argued all over the United Kingdom, Scotland, Northern Ireland, Wales, and England. So, law is my life. I just love it. I have a passion
Passion.
for, yeah, I want to argue. My wife had to remind me sometimes that, look, I'm not your opponent. I am not your opponent. So, so the passion is there. If you talk of experience, yes, I studied in this country. I went to law school here. I did my training to qualify as a lawyer here, and I've been running my own practice for 16 years.
Wow.
What other experience do you want? It doesn't
The,
get better than that, is it?
exactly. The
Yeah.
wealth of experience that he
Yes.
shared is
Yes.
enormous, and with that under his belt,
Yes.
he's much more than able to help out with anything and everything to do with immigrational issues. The contact telephone numbers are on the screen. You can call them, book an appointment. There's a consultation fee to be paid, and once that is done, they're more than happy to look at all the paperwork involved in relation to getting your settlement. What will be your final word?
My final word is wash your hands, stay at home, stay alert. Is it stay alert?
Yes, yeah, let's stay safe.
Stay safe. We don't know where we are going with COVID 19, but we just have to be prepared for anything, any eventuality. But I am certainly sure it cannot get worse than what we have been through. Also, make sure that you do something about your immigration situation. They take the decision very early now. You get a decision within 2, 3 months. And also, I think the current atmosphere that no planes flying, no airport open, I think it's an advantage for immigrants. If only you want to do something about your situation, it's an advantage. It's an opportunity for you to regularize your stay, and probably they may exercise their discretion on your behalf, because knowing fully well that if they pick you now, there's nowhere they are taking you. We don't know. So without trying, you won't know what will happen. I believe it's going to be a wonderful season, and for everyone, we just wait. But there's nothing new under the sun. They say, yes, isn't it?
Of course, there's nothing new under the sun.
Yes.
If you have any issues, please contact the telephone numbers on the screen. Dele and Co solicitors, Mr. Dele Olawanle is the gentleman you've heard him speaking throughout. If you call them, they're more than happy to help. They've got everything sorted in relation to immigration issues. Please contact them. Follow them on all social media platforms on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. And they're more than happy to help. You can email them as well. And times have changed. They're more than happy as well to do consultation, i.e. via Zoom, via Microsoft Teams, or any available platforms. So do contact them. Stay safe. Thank you.
And stay alert, they say. Is it stay alert? Stay alert. Stay safe. Use the mask on tubes, on trains, on public transport, so that you don't end up with a fine.
And observe the 2-meter rule.
Yes. They said it will be 1 meter
1 meter
soon. But we'll see.
Thank you.
I'm Dele Olawanle of Dele and Co solicitors. Contact us for advice and representation and advocacy in all areas of immigration law. We take your case from the onset until the conclusion of the case. We provide a one-stop service, and we provide advice and representation and advocacy.
Dele & Co Solicitors. We're friendly, professional and cost effective. A one-stop shop for immigration affairs as we take your case from the onset and represent you in court if necessary. Located at 659 Green Lanes, Haringey, London, N80QY. We're only 4 minutes walk from the Turnpike Lane tube station on the Piccadilly line. Call 0208 880 9393. That's 0208 880 9393 for more information.
Dele and Co solicitors. Legal advice,